What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. And I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 23 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got one pick wrong and got 23 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 95% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 23 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,000 just yesterday, and another member who won $712 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Also want to give a quick shout out to the comment of the day who commented on my last video. So shout out to Jason Darden who commented let's go pick time, so shout out to him. Also shout out to Soldier for God 47 who said ching ching, and then shout out to Dwayne who also gave us some money symbols. So shouts out to all of them, and if you do want to get a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment below and also like this video, and you can be in the running to get a shout out in tomorrow's video. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is none other than Andre Drummond. So as we all know, Andre Drummond is a fantastic player for the Philadelphia 76ers. And this one, however, is for points, rebounds, and assists for 21.5. And this one actually is for less. Now, when we look at someone like Andre Drummond, we've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games. Now, when we look at the last 5 games, we see that against Portland, he was able to get 44. Against Minnesota on March 5th, he was able to get 14. Boston Celtics on March 7 was able to get 21. Then against Utah Jazz only had 8. On March 10, and then March 13 against the Toronto Raptors he had 11. So consistently he has been actually going below or under on his line. Now his average over the last 5 as well is also 19.6, and they do face off against none other than the Indiana Pacers. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Now when we look at the Indiana Pacers, we do see that the Pacers do rank when it comes to points allowed. They rank pretty decently. They rank 19th, so not too bad, but definitely in that mid-tier. Moving on into assists allowed, we also do see that the Pacers rank 15th, so mid-tier there as well. And then rebounds allowed, Pacers do rank 20th. So they rank very mid-tier in all 3 categories. However, we still do like the under for someone like Andre Drummond here. And a big reason being is that when it comes to Indiana Pacers, they just do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the actual center position. So we definitely see someone like Drummond going on the under here due to the fact that when we all look at, Pacers and the amount of defense they have been playing on centers as of recent, they've definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at the matchup between Philly and Indiana, we are expecting actually Indiana to go down to actually Philadelphia's pace, and it could actually see, Andre Drummond not really get any extra usage rate out there. I know a lot of analysts out there do believe that since Indiana are a fast-paced team that they are going to push Philadelphia, but what we have seen with Philadelphia in the past is that Philly actually do a great job at slowing down fast-paced teams. So Drummond may get a similar amount of usage rate, similar amount of volume as we usually see, and as we see from the last 5, he's gone mostly on the under. Now, when we look at Andre Drummond, and his games against Indiana Pacers so far this season, we do see something interesting. Now, when we look at the first game that he did have on the 27th, he did have 9 points, 17 rebounds, and 1 assist. So he was playing great there, but this was also during a time where, Joel Embiid was out and, they were trying to make a push for the playoffs or do well in the East. On top of that, moving on into the next one, which is on the 13th of December, he only had 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 0 assists, so he would have been under the line on that one. And then a most recent game on the 18th, he also only had 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 0 assists there. So when you definitely see out of the 3 games, 2 out of the 3 he would have gone under on this line as well. So that definitely works out in our favor on why we do and are sticking to the under for this situation here. Now when we look at Philly as well, they are a very, very poor team, unfortunately. Sorry for all the Philly fans out there, but Philly haven't really been doing a good job. They actually do rank 12th when it actually comes to the Eastern Conference. So they aren't really in the playoff picture, and they are kind of looking to tank in order to get a higher draft pick. So if that is the case, we could see also Drummond get taken off early. He may not get the same amount of usage rate and the same amount of points that we usually see because, Philadelphia are continuing to try to tank as much as possible. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation here. So Andre Drummond, 21.5 points, rebs, and assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Jason Tatum. Now, when we look at Jason Tatum, great player as we all know, but this one is a fantastic one because this is actually for points for 28.5, and this one actually is for less. Now, when we look at Jason Tatum, we've actually seen him go in the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. And they do face off against none other than the Miami Heat. Now, when we look at Tatum over the last 5, he faced off against Cleveland Cavaliers, where he had 46 points. After that, on March 3rd, it faced off against Denver Nuggets, where he had 16 points. Then, Philadelphia 76ers had 35 points. LA Lakers had 40 points. And then March 13th against Oklahoma City Thunder, he had 33 points. So, you do have to admit, Jason Tatum has been killing it, but he has faced off against teams that do a poor job at actually restricting points to his position, and now we have a different matchup against Miami Heat. Now, Miami Heat surprisingly ranks 7th when it comes to points allowed, so they do a fantastic job at actually restricting points, but on top of that, Miami Heat also do a fantastic job at restricting points as well to the forward position, which is what Jason Tatum usually does play, and that's a big reason why we do like the under for this situation here. Yes, Jason Tatum's average over the last 5 is 34. It is above his line, and he has had some great games as of recent. But like I mentioned, it was against easier point allowing teams, and we think this time around it will definitely be a different story. When it comes to Miami Heat as well, they do a great job not only defensively, but they are a very slow-paced team. So are Boston Celtics. So we could expect a very slow-paced game and less volume than we usually see from someone like Jason Tatum coming into this matchup. So for that reason, we are definitely liking the under for this situation here. And when we also look further, we also do see that when it actually comes to this matchup, and when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have been favored for the under as well. Now, moving on to where we actually see him over the last games that he has faced off against, Miami Heat, we do see a little bit of an interesting story here. When they faced off on the 2nd of December, he actually only had 18 points in that matchup. And then another on the 10th of February, he had 33 points in that matchup. So interesting difference there. Now, he is split 50-50, but we think overall coming into this 3rd matchup against him this season, we should see Jason Tatum go on the under once again. Miami Heat are definitely fighting for a spot as well. However, Boston on the other side are very close to clinching. So we could actually see, Boston maybe take it easy. But on top of that, we just think Miami's defense, it is going to be very focused on Jason Tatum. We saw that happen last game on the 10th where they did, try that. Didn't really work, but we think this time around it should, work this time, okay? When we look at the numbers, he's more likely to go on the under, and that's why we are sticking to it. So it may seem like we are going a little bit against the grain here, but when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have a favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to this one. So Jason Tatum, 28.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Klay Thompson. So Klay Thompson, this one is actually for 3-pointers made. So this one's 3 points made for 3.5, and this one is for less. Now, this one is an interesting one because Klay Thompson has gone on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. But as you all know, Dallas Mavericks are pretty much have no players left. They are pretty much, I think they have 6-7 players left. So it is a very different time coming into this next matchup, especially against a tough Houston Rockets team. Now we look at Klay Thompson over the last 5 games against Milwaukee. He was able to hit 6 3-pointers. Then on March 8, faced off against Memphis Grizzlies, where he only had 3 points made, and then against the Phoenix Suns had 5 3-pointers made. Then back-to-back games against the San Antonio Spurs. On March 11 had 3, and then March 13 also had 2 as well, so 2 below when it came to those back-to-back games. I think a big reason for this is definitely due to the fact that when it comes to the new lineup and the new matchups that this Dallas team has, Klay Thompson can't get as open. A lot of the defensive attention is on them, and he definitely does struggle. But when we look at the matchup even furthermore, we do see that when it comes to the Houston Rockets, they do actually rank 8th when it comes to actually 3-point percentages allowed. They also rank 2nd when it comes to 3-point attempts allowed, and then they also rank 2nd when it comes to 3 points made allowed. So they rank very, very high at actually restricting 3-pointers, and on top of that, with this Dallas Mavericks team with literally no stars left besides Klay Thompson, and Klay isn't really too much of a dribbler, we don't think Klay Thompson is going to be able to get the shots off that he wants and also get it off very, very well. So for that reason, we do very much like, the under for something like this, due to the fact that when we look at someone like Klay Thompson, not only has he gone on the under consistently, but on top of that, we've actually seen that his average over the last 5 is also 3.8. Now, when we look at this as well, what we also do see is that when we look at the matchup against Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks and also Houston Rockets are very, very slow-paced teams, both very slow-paced teams. And when it comes to, this matchup, we definitely see it leading to less volume and less pace. So Klay Thompson may not get the same amount of opportunities that he usually does get. So it is definitely going to be tough for someone like Klay coming into this matchup. Now, when we look at Klay against the Houston Rockets throughout this season, it is a little bit of an interesting one. Now, they did play on the 31st, and he was able to only make 2 3-pointers made. Then on the 1st, they actually did play again on 1st of January, that is. He was able to get 4 3-pointers made. And then on the 8th of February, he was able to only make 1 3-pointers made. So we have seen 2 out of the 3 games he was restricted below his line, and we definitely see that being the case once again coming into this next matchup, especially with a matchup like this. So this one is kind of just a no-brainer to us. When we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies definitely have him favored for the under as well. So Klay Thompson may definitely have a very big struggle when it comes to getting these 3-point attempts off, and that's why we do like the under for this situation here. So Klay Thompson, 3.5 3-pointers made for less, I think is a great pick.
So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Tyler Herro. So Tyler Herro has done a fantastic job for the Miami Heat. He is currently the new face of this team alongside Bam Adebayo, due to the fact that Miami Heat have lost Jimmy Butler. But he has been doing a fantastic job so far this season, because he is averaging 23.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 5.7 assists, while also shooting 46.1% from the field. So he's done a great job for Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat do have a record of 29-36 so far when it comes to, their record so far, and they do face off against the Boston Celtics. Now, Boston Celtics are definitely on a different playing field because their record is 47-19. They're currently ranked 2nd, while Miami Heat are ranked 9th. So Miami Heat are continuing to push for a playoff spot. They're trying to get, into the play-ins at least. And when it comes to Herro, we actually see him, doing pretty much struggling from this matchup due to Boston Celtics. And a big reason being is that Boston Celtics do rank 3rd when it comes to points allowed. They also rank 3rd in assists allowed. And when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 14th. So they rank a little bit lower in that category of rebounds. However, when it comes to Tyler Herro, I definitely do like the under for this situation here, but for the points and assists line. When it comes to Boston Celtics, they do a fantastic job at restricting points and assists to the actual guard position. Whether that's point guard or shooting guard, it really doesn't matter because, as we all know, Boston Celtics have great defensive guards such as Drew Holiday, also Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. The list really does go on and on. Now, when it comes to, the Boston Celtics, they have been resting a couple of different players. They are pretty much very close to, being a guaranteed playoff spot. But when it comes to the Celtics, even if some of the players are off, we still see them doing a fantastic job, especially against Tyler Herro and especially against, the Miami Heat team. They do a great job at restricting points and assists, and we definitely see that having a huge effect on someone like Tyler Herro coming into this matchup. Now, when we look at Tyler Herro over his last couple of games, he has had some pretty decent games. He's coming off a 31 point, 7 assist, 6 rebound game. Another game where he also had 21 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds against Chicago. So he's had some decent games here and there. However, we always do believe that matchups, that's what's most important. And with a matchup like Boston Celtics, it definitely may be a bit of a struggle for Tyler Herro coming into this matchup. So we do very much like the under for this situation for like Tyler Herro, but as I mentioned, I would definitely focus more on points and assists in this category due to the fact that Boston do rank a little bit better in those two categories than compared to rebounds. So keep an eye out for Tyler Herro's line in the points and assists line. If the line is too close to his averages, definitely look to go in the under. So definitely see a lot of great value there. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Lauri Markkanen. So Lauri Markkanen, great player from the Utah Jazz. And when it comes to the Utah Jazz, they have been doing a decent job so far this season, as they do have a record of 15-51. So definitely not into playoff picture, but for a team like Jazz, not too bad. And when it comes to their matchup, they do face off against the Toronto Raptors. Now, the Toronto Raptors have a record of 23-43, so both pretty low tier teams. Now, when it comes to the Raptors, they do currently rank 11th, and on top of that, when we look at the Jazz, they rank at the bottom at the 15th when it comes to the Western Conference. So, looking at the conferences, they rank very low. Both teams aren't really looking to make the playoff spot, maybe Raptors. But when it comes to Lauri Markkanen so far this season, he has been averaging 19.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, 1.5 assists, while also shooting 42.4% from the field. So he has still been putting up some great numbers. I think Lauri Markkanen will continue to put up those great numbers. However, when we look at the matchup against Toronto Raptors, we do see that they rank 21st when it comes to points allowed. Moving on into assists allowed, we do see the Raptors rank 12th, and then rebounds allowed, they also do actually rank decent as they rank 18th. So when it comes to this matchup, we do very much like the over for this situation. However, due to the fact that the Toronto Raptors do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the power forward position. Now, when we look at Utah Jazz as well, we are expecting Collins to be out for this game. As you all know, Collins does have quite a high usage rate, and we do notice when Collins is out, we definitely see Lauri Markkanen get a huge increase and boost to his usage rate as well. So that definitely helps out this line, especially when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists. But even if John Collins surprisingly does end up playing last minute, we definitely still see someone like Lauri Markkanen going on the over here. But as of right now, it is expected that he won't be playing, which should lead to an increased volume for Lauri Markkanen in these departments. Now, when it comes to Lauri, we are expecting a points line and a rebounds line actually to come out. I highly doubt there is going to be an assist line due to the fact that he only does average 1.5. We don't think there's going to be a line there, but I think with the points and rebounds, you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. Now, when we look at Lauri Markkanen over the last couple of games, we see he's had some decent games. He's coming off a game against Houston where he had 23 points and 10 rebounds. Another game where he had 32 points and 5 rebounds. And also against LA Clippers where he had 20 points and 6 rebounds as well. So he's done pretty decently, when it comes to scoring and also rebounding. And we think with this matchup, we should see him be able to do the same thing again. So like I always mention, and what I did mention in the last one as well, matchups. That's what's most important. And with a matchup like this, we definitely see Lauri Markkanen taking advantage of it and going on the over here. So keep an eye out for his line, but definitely focus on points and rebounds. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over. So definitely see a lot of great value there.
Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Luka Doncic. So, as we all know, Luka Doncic, great player. And when we actually look at the matchup, we see the Lakers face off against none other than the Denver Nuggets. So this is going to be a very exciting game due to the fact that Lakers actually rank 4th while the Nuggets actually rank 3rd. So it is going to be a very competitive game. Both teams continue to fight to try to get as close as possible to the top when it comes to the playoff standings. And on top of that, when we look at, the Luka Doncic that he has played with the Lakers, he's been doing absolutely insanity. Now, obviously, these averages are taken into account his time in Dallas, but Luka Doncic has been averaging 26.9 points, 8.4 rebounds, 7.9 assists, while also shooting 44.2% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for none other than the Lakers. And when it comes to the Lakers, like I mentioned, the face-off against Nuggets do actually rank, when it comes to points allowed, 24th. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we actually do see them rank 30th. And then rebounds allowed, Denver Nuggets do actually rank, pretty a little bit better, but still not really anything major, but they do rank 5th. Now, when we look at points, rebounds, and assists, we do very much like the over for this situation here for Luka Doncic, but definitely sticking to points and assists. A reason being is that Denver do rank a little bit higher in that rebounding category, but on top of that, when we look at, Luka Doncic, he does play the point guard position for this Los Angeles Lakers team, and when it comes to this team, the Denver Nuggets do a very poor job at restricting points and assists to the actual point guard position. So we definitely see someone like Luka Doncic being able to take advantage of this. We all know how great Luka Doncic can be, and that is a big reason why we are definitely sticking to the over for this situation here. He is coming off some pretty big games. He most recently had a game against Milwaukee Bucks where he had 45 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists. Another game against Brooklyn where he had 22 points, 12 assists, and 12 rebounds. And another performance where he had 32 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds as well. So Luka Doncic, as of lately, has had a little bit of a hot hand, and it continues to surprise a lot of people, but we do believe it will continue on into this next matchup, no doubt about it. Now, also, when we look at both of these teams, Lakers and Nuggets, Lakers are a little bit faster paced when it comes to the style of play, and what we are expecting is that Denver Nuggets are going to come up to Lakers pace rather than the other way around. So we could see a good amount of volume, good amount of pace from this matchup, even against a slower Denver Nuggets team, and for that reason, we definitely see that leading to a lot more volume for someone like Luka Doncic to be able to go on the over in this one. So like I mentioned before, I definitely would focus a lot more on points and assists for this one, but there's definitely still a lot of value to go on the over, especially with the way Luka Doncic has been playing as of recently. We think the hot hand that he has had as of recent is definitely going to be taken into consideration, which is why we are sticking to the over. So keep an eye out for his line. If the line is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over. So definitely see a lot of great value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Tyrese Haliburton. So as we all know, Tyrese Haliburton, great player, but more than that, we actually do know that when it comes to Tyrese, he has done a fantastic job for the Pacers, and they do have themselves an interesting matchup against none other than the 76ers. Now, the 76ers have had a bit of a struggle when it comes to their season so far. They have a record of 22-43, so not really the best, and it actually ranks them 12th when it comes to the Eastern Conference. And then Pacers on the other side do rank 5th with a record of 36-28. So we definitely see a different dynamic there. When we look at a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, what we also do see is that when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 16th. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank, roughly a little bit worse as they rank 24th. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see them ranked 21st as well. So when it comes to Tyrese Haliburton, yes, he is a fantastic player, but he also definitely has an easier matchup, which is none other than against, the 76ers. Now, 76ers not only struggle from there, but they also do struggle at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the point guard position. And we definitely see someone like Tyrese Haliburton being able to take advantage of this. Now, Tyrese has had a little bit of an, unpredictable season. Some games he has massive highs, some games a bit of lows, but coming into this one, we should see him have quite a lot of highs due to the matchup that he does face off against. Now, when we also look at this matchup as well, Pacers and 76ers, both are pretty fast-paced teams, and for that reason, we definitely are expecting a lot of volume to go on the over, especially, with the volume that someone like Tyrese can definitely get in all departments, whether it's points, rebounds, or assists. Now, it definitely is no focus on which one to choose, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists, but I do feel a little bit more confident in the points and assist department due to the fact that Tyrese Haliburton tends to have a higher usage rate, intentionally in those two sort of stats. When it comes to rebounds, a little bit of a different story. Tyrese Haliburton just kind of has the rebounds fall into his lap or grabs the ones nearby. However, when we think of points and assists for Tyrese, we definitely see him looking to try to find the open man or trying to get the open shot. So we definitely see that playing a huge factor coming into this matchup. On top of that, when we look at Tyrese over the last 5 games, we've actually seen some pretty great performances. He's coming off a 14-point, 10 assist, 3 rebound game. Another game where he had 28 points, 15 assists, and 3 rebounds. Another one of 17, 12, and 9. So, when it comes to actually, someone like Tyrese Haliburton, he's definitely shown it time and time again that he can be an absolute star. So definitely keep an eye out for his line. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially, when it comes to this matchup against the Philadelphia 76ers.